Now, if you haven't used these scotch, today we're going to be having another look at the Bushwakka True Blue 270-degree awning. But we're going to be having a look at some of the mods that I've done, because there are a few things that I didn't quite like about it when I first did the review. And we're also going to be having a look at these walls, because I didn't set the walls up in the first review either. So before we look at the walls, let's have a look at some of the changes that I've made to the awning itself. If you remember, one of the biggest gripes I had about this was the little Velcro tabs that they had for holding the poles up when it's stored away, and how it would pull down on this Velcro here. Really quite frustrating, and it was difficult to use. What I've done is I've gone ahead and modified some super peg clips that I've just bought from BCF. And now you can see that when I fold this up, it just clicks in nice and easy, and hey presto, it's all done. When I want to set it back up again, you just simply grab that, flatten the foot out, and away she goes. That's actually an easier process than it was with the Alu-Cab. Even though I really like the stays on the Alu-Cab awning, this is actually better. I also found that these big Velcro tabs, even though I wasn't a huge fan of them, I have grown a bit fonder of them over time. They do work really well, but one of the problems with them was that every time you open your door up, it jams in there, and it's really annoying. But a really simple, quick fix for that, they actually stick to themselves. So as you set up, you just go along and fold them over, and no more problem. So on the Alu-Cab, I actually put a row of strip lighting along the top here inside the bracket itself. Cabling came up from the roof rack from in the back of the car, and that worked okay, but I just found that I didn't spend a lot of time out the side of the awning. We're normally living out of the back of the car, which is why we got the 270-degree awning in the first place. So on the Bushwakka, I've actually put LED lighting here and over here, and this actually lights up the workspace that we use when we're camping. The only downside is that if you've got the poles clipped up, it does block the light a little bit there, but the poles are so easy to put down now, and it just does make it a little bit more stable. I really don't see a problem with that at all. The amount of light that these two little LED strips put out, even facing straight down, is actually spectacular at night. I'm really happy with it. It's actually turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Okay, so back to the walls. They actually come with their own set of pegs and their own bag. This is the peg and rope bag that came with the original awning. So I've just popped all of the additional pegs inside of here. But I just thought I'd quickly show you just these nice little super peg pegs. They're nice and strong. They've got a good shape on them that kind of stops them bending when you're really hammering them hard. Something else that I didn't show you in the first review was these straps that come with the Bushwakka. And one of the criticisms of the Bushwakka over the Alu-Cab is the Alu-Cab has the straps neatly tucked away inside of the arms of the awning, whereas these are separate and have to be stowed in the vehicle. You don't use the straps a lot, but they are good to have. But these straps are sensational. Really nice, really versatile, really strong. Again, a super peg product. The only problem is I did break one already, and I've had to tie it together. As you pull on the strap here, where is it? It's got this nice handle here for tensioning, and it makes it really easy, but it gives you a heck of a lot of sway when you're pulling on it. And I pulled too hard and broke one of the teeth off these plastic clips. I've just tied it together anyway, but the straps are really good. And if you do need to use them, they stow away nicely in this neat little bag. So they're actually easier to put away than the Alu-Cab ones. The Alu-Cab ones are really great how they're inside of the arms, but they are a pain to get in and out. It's quite a tight fit, whereas having the bag makes that process a little bit simpler, if not a little bit more clumsy. The bag is made of the same sort of material as the walls themselves. Interestingly enough, let me just loosen this off. It's a nice bag, way oversized, probably twice the size it needs to be, which makes packing them away, putting the sides away afterwards really nice and easy. The walls are an odd shape, mainly to fit the geometry of the awning, but also so that they can be pegged out away from the awning to give you extra space, so they kind of flare out, which makes folding them up neatly a little bit of a challenge. I haven't quite worked out the exact process for that yet, but it doesn't matter, because even if you just scrunch them up, they fit back in the bag, no problem at all. What's really interesting though is that this material is not the same canvas as the roof of the awning. It's much lighter and feels really synthetic. It's kind of a smooth, shiny kind of surface. I really expected the walls to be the same as the awning, but it's not even the same color. Slightly different color as well. They look great when they're up, so there's no problem about the different color causing any aesthetic issues. And one of the really good things about the way that these walls and this awning was designed is that every single span on the Bushwakka True Blue is the same length, and that means that you can put the awning walls on any side that you want, depending on the situation, whether there's wind, sun, rain, whatever it happens to be. They also have Velcro, which actually helps you fold them up. It sort of sticks together. But this Velcro is designed so that you can actually attach multiple walls together. Now I've got 2 walls. They're only $150 each, which is exceptionally cheap for awning walls for an Australian made product. The walls for the Alu-Cab were $2,500, I think, something crazy like that. And I've seen prices upwards of $1,000 for awning walls for many of the different 270-degree awnings. So this is a bargain as far as awning walls go. The zips on here are very, very good. They're nice and strong. They're big. They zip up really easy. They latch on really easy. And it makes putting the walls up as a one-person job actually not that big a hassle at all. So let's get to it. I'm going to stick them on and you can see how hard it is to put the awning walls on by yourself. So the other thing that's really cool is when you're in lots of stormy weather, lots of wind vibrating and blowing and gusting, I find that zips always tend to come undone, especially on awnings. This has got a great little bit of Velcro here that you just wrap neatly around your pole, and that stops the zip from undoing when there's gusty conditions. Just a really simple, neat idea that obviously Superpeg or Bushwakka have come up with, and I reckon that's fantastic. Okay, so what we've got to do now that we've zipped that on, and remember that's only the second time I've done that, so it took me a little bit of time to work out where the zip was, but that's not hard at all. So now what we've got to do is go ahead and peg these out, and you can see how it's actually not a rectangular shape. It's kind of a trapezoid or some kind of angled shape there, so that the walls can actually join each other here and join up with this Velcro. I'm just going to get the impact driver and we'll put some pegs in. Now if you haven't used these coach screw style tent pegs before, you are missing out. You just keep an impact driver in the car. These are $19.95 or something from Bunnings. I'm sure you can get them elsewhere, eBay, wherever, and they are the best thing ever to come to camping. Let's put a couple of these in and see how we go. Okay, I've just thrown 3 pegs in there. You can see I haven't really got that angle quite right here, but this is just an exercise. I don't need the wall right now, so I'm going to take it down in a second anyway. But just come around the other side here and you'll see how much usable space that we've got from that angular design. So as you know, one of the big problems that I had with the Alu-Cab was that it wasn't covering the back of this table here when it was extended out. That was a problem in case it was raining or just leaving stuff overnight. With the Bushwakka, I've actually got enough coverage here to sort of mostly cover that table at the best of times anyway. But as you know, when you're camping, rain doesn't always come straight down. Often it comes in on an angle. And if you've got food out here and you're preparing food on a summer's afternoon and the sun's coming in that way, having this wall here gives me all this additional space and gives me really, really good protection of this table when it's extended out. How easy is it when you do it wrong? I'm going to do it like this. Okay, this might look like it's a reasonable size, but it actually squashes up quite small. I actually keep both of these just tucked down the side of the drawers there on top of the wings all of the time, because you never know when you want to stick one up. If you don't have them, you'll never use them. Very, very neat. I really like it. So what do I think about the Bushwakka awning after using it probably, I don't know, 30, 40 times I reckon I've probably put it up and taken it away. I really like it. It is definitely not in the same league as far as strength goes when compared to the Alu-Cab. The Alu-Cab is the toughest thing that I've ever put on a vehicle, I think. But the Alu-Cab did have its drawbacks, and I think provided that you do the right thing with the Bushwakka True Blue, I think that the strength is going to be okay. I generally put the legs down. I was doing that with the Alu-Cab anyway. Everyone thought I was mad, but I don't know, I've had awnings blow away in gusts of wind before, and you just never know when that wind in WA is going to whip up and come out of nowhere. With the ways that I have these poles set up with these nice clips, it is really just not a hassle to stick the poles down. And I generally put a couple of pegs in the feet. I very rarely actually rope it down, not unless it's getting really crazy weather-wise. One of the things that I do, because a little bit of PTSD from when the first Bushwakka, the Chinese Bushwakka, the Extreme 270 broke, it actually snapped on the arm that is tied back. And as I spin this awning around, it tends to sag a little bit, and I don't like that. So I don't let the awning just fold itself back up. I always carry it around and hold it up and actually put a little bit of support on it as I'm folding it away. Now, some of that I think is because this aluminium is a lighter gauge, or it's a different compound to what's used in the Alu-Cab, and obviously these trusses are very differently designed. But I actually think that part of it is to do with the brackets and the fact that I'm running the tradesman style rhino rack instead of just the platform. So let's come over here and have a look, and I'll tell you what I think the problem is. So the Alu-Cab brackets actually mount onto the back of the roof rack, and you can see where I've got holes drilled in there from where I had the Alu-Cab mounted. And because the specifically designed rhino brackets for the Bushwakka on this particular tradesman style rack can't go all the way back because of these bars that are on the side, but also because of the curvature of the rack here. So my bracket is actually here, and all of the weight is pivoting here. So I think what's happening is it's actually twisting the whole awning itself in this section here. It does have a little bit of strength up here with this plate, but that plate is nowhere near as thick as the plate that was on the Alu-Cab. So that is definitely still the weak point. What I'm actually thinking of doing is modifying one of these three brackets that came with the Bushwakka and actually putting that here at the back and drilled into the roof rack just like the Alu-Cab was, so that I'm bracing the awning right here on the pivot point rather than further up here where mine is right now. Yep. So all in all, I think the difficulty in setting up and packing away is different between the Alu-Cab and the Bushwakka True Blue. The Bushwakka is easier when you want to do a big setup, and the Alu-Cab's easier if you just want to pull over on the side of the road and just throw it out. So what do I think about the Bushwakka True Blue after using it all this time? So far so good, very happy with it. Now that I've got those poles sorted out and I've got the lights on there, I've got the straps out of the way, I can't really fault it other than that bracket situation that we just spoke about, which I think can be fixed, and I'm going to work on that and I'll let you know if that works and if that solves that pivoting problem that I've got. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, please like and subscribe. Comment below if you've got anything interesting to say about what I've got here. If you've used walls on other 270-degree awnings and you think they're better, worse, different, the same, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.